When you first played Elden Ring and explored the lands between, you probably said that this will be remembered as one of the best games in history. From the combat and exploration to the storytelling and world building, every moment kept you captivated from beginning to end. But when I beat the final boss and the dust settled, there was one thing that kept nagging at me. Was Morgott the Fell Omen truly a villain, or was he playing a losing game with the cards he was dealt? So grab a snack, kick back and relax as we dive into the Omen King's true intentions. In the lands between, the Golden Order is the ruling power led by Queen Marika the Eternal and defended by Godfrey, the first Elden Lord, the true definition of a power couple as they swept the land of all their enemies. And the more they conquered, the brighter the Golden Order shined until the entire lands were bathed with this golden embrace and tyranny. And during the Order's golden era, their firstborn, Godwin, came into the world, as regal as his mother and as commanding as his father, a picture-perfect family as the face of the most powerful empire. And then comes the twins Morgott and Mohg, welcomed into this world with the promise and potential of their older brother until their horns decided their fate. Within the Golden Order, those with horns are seen as cursed, blasphemous blemishes that stain the perfect image of power and perfection. And because they have the audacity to be born with such atrocities, they're forced to have their horns removed, often resulting in their death, a small price to pay for being born into a world that has no place for you. Morgott and Mohg were going to share that same fate, if not for their royal blood. Those born into nobility keep their horns, and thus their lives. But instead of being treated with love and admiration like Godwin the Golden, they were treated like dirt as they were thrown into the dungeons beneath the capital city where slivers of light is a luxury. And living in that forgotten prison will break anyone down to their core. But not the twins. Where most people would feel nothing but desolation, they found salvation. Mohg found it in the form of the formless mother, embracing him and turning his curse into power. Morgott, on the other hand, had no one to comfort him but the everlasting shame that hung over him like a looming shadow, for he was completely and utterly alone. And somehow, he found solace in his solitude. As his life wasted away, he had to believe in something, anything to give his life meaning. And in the darkest corners of his cell, he focused on the radiance of the Golden Order, the same one that rejected him for merely being born. But that didn't matter to him, as long as it gave his life purpose. For what is life without meaning? Nothing more than the walking dead, wandering aimlessly, waiting for the inevitable end of their existence. And that was a life he didn't want. Though born one of the graceless Omen, Morgott took it upon himself to become the Erd Tree's protector. He loved not in return, for he was never loved, but nevertheless, loved it he did. When you look past the imposing stature and godlike strength, you see a broken spirit seeking some form of validation, an air of acknowledgement from anyone, even from those who despise him. The Fell Omen reminds me of Naruto, actually. Someone who was hated by his whole village because of circumstances he had no control over. And like Morgott, he was treated like a monster, because within him was a demon fox who slaughtered countless lives the night he was born. And just like the Omen King, Naruto sought validation, eventually protecting the very village that despised every breath he took. And though many of us believe that Naruto should have abandoned his village in his time of need, he did get that love and acknowledgement when the dust settled, proving to them that he wasn't the monster they made him out to be, even becoming Hokage, becoming a beacon of hope for them during their darkest times. But no matter how much Morgott fought for it, no matter how much he protected it, the higher power never acknowledged his efforts. Even in its moment of desperation looking for the next Elden Lord to restore its diminishing power, the Golden Order ignored him in favor for a tarnished warrior, someone who was also casted out by that same power. To Morgott, even he had to question his god's choices, convincing himself that everyone after the Elden Ring are traitors to the Order, as a way to cope with everything that is happening around him. But I believe this goes beyond mere coping. And I say that because if Morgott was truly fighting for the Golden Order, he wouldn't be so quick to cut us down if we so much as looked at the Erd Tree. He would make us prove our loyalty to the Order and exterminate us if our goals didn't align with his. Instead, having slaughtered countless champions during the Shattering, the Fell Omen has become a horror to those who harbor ambitions for the Erd Tree, or for lordship. What began as protecting the Golden Order's power from those who would abuse it became an act of jealousy and anger towards that very god. And with no means of lashing out to it, all that built up resentment claimed the lives of countless champions who might have restored the Golden Order to its former glory. Anger, jealousy, a sense of duty and self-hatred that was building up throughout the years reached its boiling point during the final battle with him. And you feel the self-hatred emanating when his blood is spilled during battle.
by my curse. Such shame I cannot bear. Thy part in this shall not be forgiven. May the curse seep to thy very soul.
His source of strength is nothing more than a stain on his existence and everything he stands for. Even as a powerful enemy who will snuff out your life like a candle in the wind, you begin to feel bad for him, because beneath all that godlike power is a broken man who yearns for some form of validation, an air of acknowledgement, and it's no more apparent than after putting him down do you see a fragile man, defeated not only in battle, but in life as well. Crushed completely down to his core as his struggles, his sacrifices, and his sanity is shattered to pieces in front of him, with nothing left to show for it but a beaten and broken body, collecting dust like an overused tool cast aside by its owner. And his final words tells you that.
Tarnished. Thou art but a fool. The Erd Tree wards off all who deign approach. We are all forsaken. None may claim the title of Elden Lord. Thy deeds shall be met with failure, just as I.
Deep down, he knew the truth all along. No matter how far he wanted to bury it, he was never going to be accepted. Had he known that those born with horns were once revered as living blessings, simply possessing that bit of lost knowledge, his life would have turned out differently, perhaps for the better. But, as life has taught us, those who win write history, while those who lose are nothing more than mere legends. And the Golden Order poisoned Morgott's mind into thinking he was less than the dirt he walked on. At the end of it all, this was someone who slaughtered countless champions and warriors who wanted to fix the lands between, whether through the Golden Order or through other ways. And nothing can justify his brutality, but knowing his upbringing helps us to at least understand what led him to that point. This was a king who wanted to protect a land that did not want him, and led by a god that disowned him. And that's why I think Morgott is a villain whose life is wrapped in tragedy, showing you what happens to someone who is truly and utterly alone in a world that never wanted him. But what do you think of the Omen King? Is he a tragic villain deserving of some bit of sympathy, or did he get what he deserved in the end? And as always, thank you so much for watching, and please, feel free to like, subscribe, and join the conversation. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.